Good morning and welcome to Saturday special of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We find political leaders offers apologies at the drop of the hat, and then there are huge protests asking for apology, and to satisfy those protesters, to win cheap popularity, and also to consolidate their vote banks. These politicians indulge into offering apologies that don't mean a single iota of what an apology should be. Apology is a well defined science, and merely saying, I'm sorry, we are sorry, has no meaning. The apology to have a meaning has to meet a certain criteria. From everything that a man erects and builds his urge for living, nothing in my eyes is more important than building a bridge. As a matter of fact, many times bridges are much more important than the houses, and they are more sacred than the shrines, belonging to everyone and being equal to everyone, always built with a sign on the spot where human needs crossing. And the bridges are not only bridges made of steel and bricks, but of feelings and emotions. They connect the human beings to each other and they connect the human beings to nature. As a matter of fact, they're more durable than any other building can be because they are human itself and they do not serve anything secret or anything bad. Now, what I have said was echoed by Nobel laureate Ivo Enric way back on 9th of October 1975. And this great eulogy for the bridges stands for the apology as well, a sincere apology. Because the importance of building bridges as against burning them is true for the interpersonal relationship as well. And interpersonal relationship can be between human beings, individuals, groups, communities. So in this process, the role of apology is almost established, especially in practice of politics. Yes, apology, provided it's sincere, provided it's proper, and proper is timely, and most important, if it's driven by internal self realization, is extremely useful because it builds a bridge, or rather, rebuilds a bridge. Now, there's nothing exotic about the science of apology. It's very simple. The apology of science, the science of apology is an art of rendering it that is challenging because this is a curious combination. Psychology renders it as science. The art of apologizing is an art, but a few aspects are clear. First, only the offender can apologize. Nobody can apologize on behalf of another. When I hear people think, I apologize on his behalf, it's stupid. When the politicians say, I apologize for the actions taken 100 years back, that is just cheating. Apology has to be by the offender himself. Secondly, the forgiveness can only be given by the victim, not by others. The victims died long back when the people apologized for, the Canadian politicians have apologized for the Chinese head tax. Head tax, those Chinese who paid the head tax were buried long back. It is their third or the fourth generation. Are they going to be affected by it? They might say, yes, it's good. But does it heal the real wound of those people who died? Same is to satisfy the Sikh agitators. The Prime Minister apologized for Komagata Maru and he apologized for the law of the land. At that time, the law was prohibiting Komagata. And he apologized. The purpose was only to consolidate the vote bank. And why did he apologize? He apologized for the sense from his sense of greed of creating a vote bank. It was a sort of a coercion, a force. And if there is a force, if there's scheduling, if there's coercion involved, either in offering a apology or in accepting an apology, then it's not an apology. It's not rebuilding a bridge. And here, in both the instances I've quoted where the Canadian Prime Minister apologized, there was a coercion, there was a force, there were protests. And to satisfy those protesters, they apologized. So neither the offender was really genuinely contrite and repentant, nor the victims were there to receive the apology. Such bridges cannot be resurrected. And that has been sufficiently demonstrated when the word witnessed such sort of hollow apologies. The most recent in India. The Supreme Court asked one advocate to apologize for contempt of court, and he refused to do so. And he said, my apology would not matter because there's no change of heart. I'm not feeling contrite, and he was right. There are two essential variables for apology. The first variable is that the feeling that my behavior has harmed someone. Second, my behavior was wrong. If both are present, then the apology results in a remorse apology. Clearly, this was not the case in the case of that Indian advocate, Prashant Bhushan, or in the case of Justin Trudeau apologizing for the Chinese head task and the Komagata Maru. That apology starting, I'm sorry that the behavior hurt the feelings of someone, of what he did was not with the intention to hurt, and hence it is not even a regret apology, it's a sham apology. There's a third kind of apology. So we have remorse apology, we have regret apology. The third apology is that the behavior has not harmed anybody. He is not guilty, but then he's apologizing for social harmony. And this is the plea which Justin Trudeau can take, that he wanted to establish social harmony. And for the sake of maintaining peace, he apologized. There is some sense from the political point of view in that the people are protesting, okay, to ensure that the people who are protesting are quieted and they build a goodwill. But then, what the people really protesting? Apart from a very small vocal minority, people were not, and nobody cares. A remorse apology is the most important one because that seeks to rebuild and repair the broken bridges. And that's what is required. Apology, if it has really to have a meaning, has to be a remorse apology. Social harmony apology is just a veneer. It lacks a sincerity, it lacks a conviction, and it lacks acceptability. A regret apology, again, is just a band aid. It doesn't solve anything, doesn't do anything. But bidding someone to apologize over and over again would at least elicit a externally motivated, insincere apology. And that is what the apologies mostly are. Whether it is of Justin Trudeau or of Manmohan Singh when he apologized for 1988 killing of the Sikhs. Those apologies are only to whitewash the guilt. They are not expressions of sincere regret. They are nothing but an attempt to delude, mislead, and establish a sort of an environment which can enable others to say, well, he is a good fella. He's a goody goody guy. And goody goody not in the good sense, but really in the bad sense. As a matter of fact, saying sorry in the truest of sense means a lot of remorse. Now imagine how much remorse can the present Americans have for if they apologize on behalf of the slave owners. 5 generations back, those slave owners died, and the slaves who suffered died. These politicians who say, well, they are the inheritors of the tragedy of being slaves, are really better off than most of the white people. And yet they want apologies, even if they are insincere ones. We have got to realize that apologies simply do not work that way. As I said, the science of apology is, in fact, a very finely tuned, which takes into effect the lacerated soul of the victim and the honest remorse on behalf of the offender. And when the two emotions are juxtaposed to each other, when they're entwined, then apology, even if it's not expressed, is there. And a real sincere apology is not in saying, I'm sorry, but it's a sort of making real amends in action rather than in words. You can keep on saying you are sorry. You can keep on saying you are apologizing, then keep on repeating it. It needs a change of the heart and an attitudinal change. And you know, when you force somebody to say, I'm sorry, you are not changing the attitude. You are simply asking the wolf to have a sheep's clothing. Do you want that to happen? If that's what you want to happen, you're welcome to it. But I would definitely say it's a height of hypocrisy, duplicity, and an art of double dealing, which is degenerated, or rather, which has assumed the form of apologizing without remorse. And even when especially the offender is not there, offender doesn't is not there, the victim is not there, and then the apology comes. What sort of apology is that? The same thing, Jallianwala Bagh, thousands of the people were killed by General Dyer. And now, after more than 100 years, they say, well, we apologize. We should not have done it. You didn't do it. It was the establishment at that part time of the world. At the time juncture is passed. You cannot bring the time back. So why apologize? Rather than an apology, there should be a commitment that you and your successors would not repeat that offense. That sort of a commitment I've never seen in any political apology. If that sense of commitment and a sense of affirmation is there, then one can believe it. People have been apologizing for every time for the untouchability in India, the caste system in India. They apologize and they start repracticing the art of caste discrimination because they never apologized. Same is about the apology to the minorities, which happened in Canada twice. These apologies are not to be taken even with a grain of salt. And as a matter of no well meaning political leader should apologize for such thing, but he should make a commitment that what happened was wrong. Say that, and we will ensure that it doesn't happen again. That sort of a reassurance will build better bridges than offering a sham apology as being done. Thank you.